Hey, how's it going? Ron here. Just wanted to take a minute and pass along some words of encouragement as we end 2020. One of life's more sobering realities that I've been kind of talking about here recently is the truth that we're not promised another day. Obviously, we have to have a balance. You often hear people say, live as if each day was your last. Well, I know I wouldn't go to work. That's one thing I wouldn't do if it was my last day. There's probably a lot of things that we do have to take care of on a day-to-day basis. But I think the sentiment still rings true for most of us in that we would like to design our lives in such a way that we minimize this have-to-do stuff and make the most out of each day. And a lot of us like to prepare for the worst case scenario. And on some level, that could be a useful thing, but I don't know. I was talking to my girlfriend about it, and she said, you're jumping to the worst case scenario, and it's robbing you of the present moments. And there's a better chance that these worst case scenarios are not even going to happen. So you just have to move forward and gain the information that you need and be patient and really find it in yourself to not give in to that fear. For me personally, I take a look at the idea that what if I was given some bad news that my life was going to be cut short? What would I do with that? The reality is we don't know if that's going to happen in our lives. So some people might find it morbid to visualize the idea that what if I was told that I had 6 months to live or a few weeks to live or whatever. And I can understand that. It's not something most of us even want to consider. But it can be a healthy exercise if not taken to extremes. Every now and again, it is good to consider in what direction we're moving. Maybe we're holding a grudge. Maybe we're not dealing with something that we should be dealing with. It's understandable. This stuff is hard. Nobody likes to think about the worst that can happen. There is something to be said for living blissfully ignorant to how fragile we are. But every now and again, I find it useful to think about these things, and it motivates me to take stock of where I'm at with the things that I want to accomplish while I'm here. Contemplating our mortality is terrifying. It's a scary thing. It's a sad thing to think about those we leave behind. But in healthy doses, these things can serve us well. We can really come to appreciate what we have and make the most of staying in the moment while we possess that moment. And making the most of our relationships. If there's someone that we're on the outs with, setting aside our pride and making things right whenever we can, or being okay with when that's not possible and moving on. We can't stay stuck. There's too much at stake to just exist in a vicious cycle of fear and paralysis. So I encourage you to think about what you have and don't overdo it, but ponder on the hypothetical situation of losing the things that you value. For me, I do this and I come to value the people and things in my life on a whole other level of appreciation. It brings clarity to me about what's important and what's not important. There's so much pride wrapped up and saving face and all this stuff that really doesn't matter. Does our pride really matter that much? The people in our lives is what matters, and our goals, the things that we are setting out to do while we have time here, these are the things that truly matter. Pride is a trickster, that's for sure. Pride can make us believe that we are standing up for ourselves and that we're not going to take it anymore. And you've seen the memes. They're all over Facebook. Time to cut toxic people out of our lives and time to care about myself. And these things are important, But there is something to be said for self-analysis and setting aside our pride, getting it out of the way. It's a mirage. We can waste years being wrapped up in pride and not making the first move. We want to think about what we would regret if we ran out of time to do things. Just something I'm thinking about. I hope 2021 is a great year for you. Personally speaking, I had a wonderful year on many levels. Other levels not so good, but that's the way life is. Take what we can get, nurture it, savor it, make it everything it can be. The special memories, the good times, the good work that we do, the moving forward in ways that we feel alive. That's what we're here to do. We're alive to feel alive. And in order to do that, maybe we have to consider what it would be like if we weren't, and what we would regret losing. I've read many articles, as I'm sure you have, of people on their deathbeds, what they regret most. The lists are always the same, without exception. They wish they would have not been afraid to do what they're here to do. They wish they would have mended relationships where possible. They wish they would have spent more time with friends and family. All the usual things that you know. I don't have to tell you. You know what these things are. But I tell you, I'm giving you the moral support, and I appreciate you letting me say these things out loud so they'll sink in my head even deeper still. Godspeed to you. Keep on keeping on. Don't ever give up. We got this. Take care.